Hello, welcome back to Art Class Demos. Today's video is going to be focusing on learning how to draw a cylinder. Let's jump right into it. Okay, we're going to take a look at how to draw the cylinder. Each one of these basic forms that we're learning how to draw, each one of those can be translated into nature. Everything that comes from nature or is man-made can be broken down into a basic version of one of those forms or a combination of those forms. Today's lesson is going to focus on the cylinder. The only difference between a cylinder and a cone is that a cylinder has flat sides and a cone has angled sides. For example, we have our cylinder, which is just the top, sides, we'll talk about these different parts, whereas a cone is going to be something more like same top, angled sides. So on our cylinder that we have today, our lovely roll of toilet paper, we have two flat sides, we have a top and a bottom. They're called ellipses. An ellipse, all an ellipse is a circle that's been tilted so that we see less of the height of it, or if it's on the side. Either way, if you can imagine a beach ball or one of those big bounty balls from the store, from the grocery store, and someone took and just stepped on it, and the height has changed but the width has not, so it stays round. It's going to stay like this, and it's not like this. The thing about this roll of toilet paper is that it's kind of short and wide, kind of short and squatty. The tricky part is this top part, because it's kind of, from my perspective and the perspective you're looking at on the picture over here, we got this top ellipse. And notice that I'm just kind of, with an ellipse, I don't want to try to just draw it straight off the bat. It's really hard to do that. So I try to take a couple little practice swings almost, where I've got my one finger out where I'm not even touching it. I'm just kind of feeling the movement of it, because it's kinda, there we go. Let's see, I'll get that to go around out. And the bottom, same thing. The bottom is tricky because it's not transparent, so I don't see the backside of it, even though the backside is there. I don't really want to just try to draw that. That's difficult. It's really difficult. So I'll kind of just try to draw a matching ellipse. One interesting thing is that this has another ellipse on the inside for the inside of the roll. It has that inside, right? And the proportions we got going on are kind of important too. The height versus the width. That's what makes it kind of characteristic. And just remember, trying to stay light. I'm not trying to make sure I don't push too hard my pencil, because I want to be able to come back and erase mistakes. If I push too hard, there we go, that's coming along a little better. Push too hard, I'm not going to be able to erase. Here we are further on in the drawing. We got the toilet paper pretty well blocked in now. I want to try to get the shadow, the cast shadow behind it pretty well blocked in as well. Our light is coming this direction, so my shadow's going, you can see from the photo, kind of coming that direction. So I'm just gonna lightly, and I see it come on a little bit from that front edge. There's a little gap between that spot right there. Yeah. And there's that back little edge between the two little cards I have set up. I'm just looking at where that is in relation to the height of this toilet paper roll. And I think I have my angle, my shadow a little wrong. It's more like that. Comes over before it hits the bottom there, and that's where it starts to turn and play with this thing. Remember the last video I said that our cast shadows are it's just the object, same shape as the object, but it's been distorted. So this is round, so therefore this is round, and it kind of rounds out like that. It's not perfect, but we're getting there. Okay, I started to do some of the shading on it. The shading this is another reason why on that value scale, we did two things. We did crisp edges, because that value comes right up to the edge and stops. Because light is like a blanket, it travels in a straight line. Light travels in a straight line until it hits something. And then when it hits something, when it changes direction or form, changes shape, changes form, it is gonna turn, as it starts to turn away from the light loses its strength and wraps, and as it wraps like that blanket would, it gets darker because it loses its power. So this is coming right up to that edge and stopping, because that indicates to our brain that there's a change in direction of the form. But from here to here, we see a big shift in value as it wraps around here, because the light's coming this direction, right? Right through here is our lightest area on the outside of the object. Even as it rolls this way, it's gonna get a little darker. As it rolls this way, even from here to there, it's gonna get a little darker. So further on in the drawing, I'm starting to push this side a little darker. Remember, I'm trying to blend hard edge here on the outside bottom, but blend in between. Okay, I've started to try to push this area up here a little darker, because the same thing is happening. Light's bouncing off of this and lightening up. So I have a little, not only do I have a fade from dark to light going this way, I've also got a little bit going from top to bottom. So I'm trying to also exaggerate this darkness just a little bit, just to make it a little bit more interesting. And I've also got this little kind of lump right there. I don't really care if I get the exact feeling of a roll of toilet paper for the most part. For today's demonstration, it's mostly about learning how to draw a cylinder. But if you want to draw still lifes and realistic things, learn how to really draw things well, some of this stuff is the character of the object, like this little divot lump thing right here. It's got a little bit of a sharp edge, but then kind of fuzzes out again right through there. That's really important. The patterning on the paper, honestly, people who do that are amazing. I'm not that amazing. I don't have the patience for that. But what I do want to do is hit the inside of the roll a little bit. So I'm going to start pushing this darker. Okay, further in my drawing here, I'm gonna try to push this a little darker through here. There we go. Just kind of lightly scrub and smooth this out. Can you see how it's going from light, or from dark into light? Because the light is gonna filter around. Okay. Now let's try to if you think about that value scale again, our cast shadow, which one's lighter or darker? Well, this is darker, this is lighter, but not by much. So I'm just gonna take and bring this out in front again. Actually, there's an area, this is down here. I'll get that later. But this little area down here, because of that reflected light bouncing back up, because of that reflected light bouncing back up, this area is lighter than this part of the shadow, but this part of the shadow on the object, something we call the core shadow, the darkest part on the object, is actually darker than it. So this is a cool little flip back and forth thing happening. So I'm trying to put my marks down kind of in the direction the light's going. Not that I really want to see the marks in the end, but our eye can pick up on things like that pretty well, even if they're real subtle. Start to lighten it up and fuzz it out back here. All right, a little further progression on this. I've got the basic shape and value of the cast shadow in there. But I'm gonna try to take and get this a little bit more believable. So I think I need to really lighten a little bit of that up. So yeah, I love my kneaded eraser. A little blotting, a little dabbing. Push this a little darker. Underneath and behind. And you can exaggerate a little bit here if you want. A little exaggeration goes a long way in drawing. It's really actually something that works really well. It goes back many, many years. This idea called chiaroscuro, which is an Italian term, which means dramatic use of light and dark. It goes back to the Renaissance. Losing a little bit of the edge there. That's where I want to fade it out. Kind of softly blend that out. Again, trying to keep that fuzzy edge of the cast shadow as it goes back away. Let's see here. Go back to my HB. Try to even out this a little bit. Something like that. Take my, back to my 4B. This edge there. Something like that, and call that good. So there's our how to draw a cylinder.
Okay, that's a wrap for today. I hope you found something useful in today's lesson on cylinders. Each one of these forms we learn how to draw can be translated to anything from nature. The next video will focus on how to draw a sphere. So I look forward to teaching that to you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.